Today is a crush update. Last time, it was not very much a crush update. It was more of a work bullshit that has been going on a lot. So I noticed I have not really gave an update about like Sand and what's been going on lately. So I guess why not talk about it now, because I don't know, it's fun. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm, what's it called, like hiding anything or like not mentioning things on purpose. Ooh, it's green for me. That never happened. You guys are good luck. So we are not together. I mean, we're together, but like not like we're not official. We act a lot like we're in a relationship, which is very confusing because that's never really happened to me before. We just say it. The heck with this water bottle, dude. And we do not kiss though. We haven't kissed, but we do cuddle, which is really weird. I think I'm not the type to make the first move with anybody. I think the only thing I'll make a move on, like that I've known that I do, is I'll message people. I'm very like, as if distance is related, I will do it the way of distance, like letters. Back in the day when, you know, like the internet wasn't that big like a thing with everyone, I would this looks so dumb. I would send letters or make my friends give people letters, and now it's like messages or through social media. The problem was Sand is not really in social media. Doesn't really care for it. And I found, this sounds so bad, but like I found a sneaky way to kind of have his number, because same with Lou. So originally when me, Lou, and Sand were friends, I wanted to have their contact, because for me, the only way I can like kind of count you as friends is if I have a way to contact you without it being through work. That's how I count it. And if we're good friends, not just coworker friends, I count it as we've hung out outside of work or school or whatever it is. That's how I count it. So I wanted to have Sand and Lou's information without actually asking for it, because then it would feel like I kind of put them in that spot. I need them to be okay with giving me their information, you know. So I used psychology. No, I'm just kidding. So I manipulated them. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think it counts as manipulation. I just didn't want to be the one to straight up say it, like, hey, give me your information. You know what I mean? Especially if they're not okay with that. So basically, I kept coming in late for work. I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm sorry if I did. I kept coming in late because I would take sleeping pills for my nightmare problems. And this was months ago, by the way. So I told with Sand, I'm like, oh my gosh, like they always lock me out of the warehouse because they lock it at a certain time, and I'm always locked out and I can't contact anybody. They won't answer the actual building's number. Like, I'll call the phone, and this is true, by the way. They wouldn't answer, or if they did answer, they'd hang up on me. So I told him that, and he said, I have the manager's cell phone number. And I'm like, oh, can you give it to me? So I had her cell phone number, and I'm like, dang, like I didn't get yours, but that's okay. But at least I wouldn't be locked out. But then I woke up late again, and I contacted her, and she told me to call me when I got there, because I'm like 30 minutes away from work. So she told me that when I drove there, I'd call her on her cell phone and she'd come open it for me. So I got there and I called her. She wouldn't answer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this sucks. I had to wait for like break time when everybody was like going out to lunch and stuff. And she finally opened it. But I was complaining about it to Sand. And I said, I really need to get somebody's number here who is always here. And he's a workaholic. So he said, I am. And I'm like, oh, well, you should give me your number. So if I'm late, you know, like I could message you to open it for me. He's like, yeah. But then we kept talking, and he never gave me his number then. And then we went talking after work, and he actually brought it up, which I thought was cool, because if he really didn't want me to have his number, he wouldn't have brought it up, and that's what I was waiting for. That kind of gave me the, like, okay, you're not, you know, like, forcing, kind of putting him in a spot where, like, you have his information. So he gave me his number, or I gave him mine, so I told him to message me, like, an emoji, so I knew it was him. And then I waited a few days, and I messaged him something about, like, a question, and that's when we started messaging all the time. Then eventually we started hanging out all the time. And then with Lou, I told her, like, oh, like, I always hate that I miss out and stuff. And, like, the thing is, Lou and I work when Sand isn't there. One of the days is Sand isn't there. So I told her about my problem, and I was doing the same thing. I'm like, oh, like, I need somebody's number so they could open the door for me. And she's like, oh, I hate I hate giving my number to coworkers. I never give it to anybody. And I'm like, oh, I kind of took that as like, oh, I would hate to give you my number type of thing. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna back off completely. So I never mentioned it again to her. Days passed, and we got closer, me and Lou, and I told her, like, oh, we were doing some funny shit, like messing around and talking about, you know, like, so we pick up people as a joke with this baby, a fake baby. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this baby. So we kind of put it in people's, like, stuff as a joke, because most of the guys are scared of this baby. So we were talking about the baby and how she can make it hair, like glue a wig on it or something. And she's like, oh, just like wait for me outside before work one of these days, and then I can give you, like, we can talk about the wig or whatever, right? And later on, she comes up and she's like, hey, here, just, like, message me or give me your number, and I'll tell you when I'm around. And that's when I'm like, yes, now it worked, right? So I give her my number, and that's when we started, like, once we got closer, she will message me. The thing is, I let other people message me first and stuff, because I am very scared to be annoying. Like, sometimes I message people a lot, and I'm scared to, like, annoy them, you know? So I never knew, like, I thought I'd be the one getting on, like, Lou's nerves and Sand's. Now that we're all pretty close friends, Lou messages me at least once every day, which I am very happy, because very different friendship with these people, because before that, the only friendships I had were my siblings, and it was always about, I feel like, for me at least, it felt like it had to almost always be about them. It felt like it was never really about, like, us or me. Like, I never really had a turn, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds really rude to say it, but, like, I feel like a lot of people really think it has to be about them all the time. And this is why I talk a lot about myself on here, because I never really had the chance. Like, nobody really cared, you know? And the best part of that is, like, a lot of you have a lot of common stuff with me, so it's almost like we're talking and we're agreeing with the same stuff, versus two people that are completely different, and one just it was a one-sided friendship, basically, it felt like. And when I would press on to talk about my situation and my problems, it felt like I wasn't allowed to. But with Lou and Sand, it feels like they're genuinely interested in who I am and how I feel and what I think. And that feels so cool. It feels like I'm finally allowed to be my own person instead of taking on somebody's identity just so I can be cared for. If that makes sense. That's why, like, I'm really scared to lose Lou, because friendships that aren't love related, like romantic, tend to be easier to just walk away from. People don't take friendships very seriously, and I wish I had a friend that, you know, like, I was around with, and she would, you know, we could hang out and do stuff together. It would be so fun. But I don't know, it's like, it's really hard, because I understand what she really wants from me, because what I want is, I really want a permanent friendship where we're always talking and, like, meeting up and doing stuff, you know. Like, I always wanted that so much, but, like, with my old friends, I felt like I was suffocating them. So when I stopped putting all my effort into it, eventually it came to realize that I was doing all of it. And that's when, you know, I could, after the pain of like stopping myself from caring or forcing myself to give up on it, it all wore away. They would eventually come back and be like, wait, why aren't you paying attention to me? You know, and I was like, you know what? I realized that our friendship was one-sided and I was doing all the work. And now that I'm healed and don't need to be so codependent, I found out that I don't want a friendship like that. And then I was a problem, you know? So, yeah, sorry, I'm kind of just like emotionally dumping on you. But basically, that's how I got both our numbers and I could reach out. I try to stay a little quieter with Lou just because I know I have ruined friendships by doing the most and suffocating my old friends. So now I'm kind of distancing myself. So only when like we're both, you know, doing our part to reach out, that's when I like actually do my part. Like I match people's energy. I'm no longer gonna, ooh, this guy scared me. I'm no longer going to do all the work, basically. Sand, I've never met a guy who is very detailed and cares without needing anything like, there's a word for it, I think. Like, basically, he doesn't expect anything back for all the good he does. For example, I'll say, oh, I really like this candy, and then we'll walk away, and then days later he'll show up with it and he won't want anything back other than just me happy, you know? And that's really weird. I never really had a relationship where we're not in a relationship, but he already is a boyfriend material, and it's crazy. And it's been so long that I don't know, I just feel like in every relationship they always expected me to give back every time they gave anything. But yeah, the thing I was going to tell you guys is, although we haven't kissed, he kind of made the first like cuddling move by pretending to tickle me and eventually just rested his hand where we would be cuddling. And yeah, it's really weird how we just accept it now. It's normal, but we're not in a relationship. I almost want to be like, you know, do you cuddle with all your friends? Do you cuddle with all your warehouse friends? Because it's like, I don't like the spot of we are, but we're not. But I don't think it's because he's playing with me. It's more because he's shy and he's not sure and he's scared to scare me off, basically. But it has helped me a lot with sleep. I've never slept the most ever because I don't have nightmares when he's around. And I do start to sleepwalk a little, and I do, the second he gets up to go to like to the bathroom or somewhere else in the house, I will wake up because I feel my sleep paralysis or nightmares coming. It's really weird how my body knows nobody's around to help me out, which sucks because it's like I feel like I'm using you, but it's not like I don't like you or anything, you know? One time, I do this thing where it's like, I pretend to bite him because one time I was really close to his face and I almost kissed his cheek because in my head I'm like, we're already together, you know? So I almost forgot and I put my mouth on his cheek and I was like, oh no, how do I play this off? So I pretended to bite him, and that's what I do usually to make it normal in case I do it again. And this one time he was really annoying me, so I bit him, and when I bit him, I thought I bit his nose, but it turned out I bit his lip, so that was really embarrassing. And we haven't talked about it since. He kind of just like, ow, and then like, what the heck, and then kept talking about something else, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. That's what happened. We touched lips, but not kissing. It's really weird. If you're the type that makes the first move or like right away tells somebody how you feel, this must be so frustrating for you. Like, I know when I talk about it to like my sister, she's like, are you kidding me? But I really thought the fact that I bit his lip by accident because I thought it was his nose, he would have just like kissed me, but he didn't. We kind of like froze. It was like, I did not know it was his lip. Like, it was so awkward. But yeah, that's what happens. I have noticed that when I get mad at him about something, he like, instead of yelling at me, which is what I'm used to, people yelling back and like, or leaving, he'll stay, but he'll feel very sad. And that diffuses it. Like, I can't be mad at you if you're sad about me being mad at you. You know what I mean? It's weird. So it's never an argument. It's always just like, oh, it's weird. It's like I'm tasting the healthiest. It's like I'm getting a free trial of a healthy relationship. And I'm like, okay, where do I sign up? Without telling the person that I signed up, oh God, how fast is this road? I just pulled somebody over and I'm going fast. Imagine if they let them go and they come after me. So, it's weird because like I'm trying to see all the things that could break a relationship, and trying to see if I could spot them before I just, get into this relationship or whatever. And I'm so scared to like mess it up because I don't know, like he'll say stuff and I'm like, oh my God, like I remember 4th of July, the plans didn't, like the thing we wanted to do didn't work out. So he was like, well, I guess we'll just do it next July 4th. And I'm like, you want me for next July 4th? I thought this was gonna expire. Like, I'm so used to people like letting me go eventually, friendships, coworkers, anything, that I'm expecting them to be like, oh, well, I guess with you it didn't happen, so it's like when he said, we'll just see next 4th of July, and I'm like, you think I'm gonna be here around? That's so cool. Like, you really think I'm allowed to be here past a year, because I always think people are more likely to be like, oh, well, it's like, dang, like, you don't think we have an expiration date? Because I'm starting to believe that everybody eventually walks away. Same with Lou. She saw at work, there was these 2 old lady friends talking and laughing together. They're really old. And she looks at me and says, that's going to be us. Are you ready for it? And I'm like, please tell me it's true, because you're giving me hopes. You're both giving me hopes that you're going to be around for a long time. And it's making me happy, but I need to know it's the truth. Like, please tell me it's the truth, Like, I really want you guys around. I really need people like you around. These are the type of people I always wanted around, that make me happy without me having to do the most, that respect my boundaries and don't get mad at me with, like, me and Lou have not argued, and she's really cool. She's really cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of all this, and yeah, that's all that's been going on. I hope I can upload this video because I'm having a hard time getting a new phone. I shouldn't have mentioned it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm having a hard time with my phone, basically. It's still, like, the same phone, the same 8-year-old phone, and it's struggling. So I hope I get this out on time and everything. But yeah, what do you guys think of this crush? Or let me know if you've ever made the first move and how, because this is not working. Oh, how am I gonna get in? Please work. Oh, there we go. I'll see you guys, okay? Bye.